Welcome to the Language in Motion podcast, where we share inspiration, tips, and tricks from stories of success and failure on the language learning journey. As a language learner, I have found that there are various grammar rules that are present in different languages. The present perfect is an example of this, which will make today's lesson especially helpful for English language learners, but also helpful for learners of other languages. The present perfect is a grammatical combination used to express a past event that has present consequences. An example would be, I have eaten. The present perfect is formed using the present tense of the auxiliary verb have in combination with the past participle of the main verb, in this case, eat. Other perfect constructions also exist, such as the past perfect, I had eaten, but we'll get to that in another episode. We can find corresponding forms in other languages, such as the French passé composé and the Italian passato prossimo. Although they have different ranges of usage, these French and Italian forms serve as a general past tense for completed actions. In English, completed actions in many contexts are referred to using the simple past verb form rather than the present perfect. English also has a present perfect continuous form, which combines the present tense with both perfect aspect and the continuous. For example, I have been eating. The action is not necessarily complete, and the same is true of certain uses of the basic present perfect when the verb expresses a state or a habitual action. For example, I have been a teacher for 10 years. In English, the auxiliary verb used to form the present perfect is always to have. A present perfect clause thus consists of the subject, the auxiliary have or has, and the past participle of the main verb. Let's listen to some examples. I have finished my homework. Have you gone to class? He has already arrived at work. He has so much to do this week. Early modern English used both to have and to be as perfect auxiliaries. To have expressed emphasis in the process of an action that was completed, and to be put the emphasis in the final state after the action is completed. We can find examples of this in older texts. Madam, the Lady Valeria is come to visit you. Vexed the dim sea, I am become a name. Pillars are fallen at thy feet. I am come in sorrow. In many European languages, the equivalent of to have is used to form the present perfect or its equivalent for most or all verbs. However, there are some verbs in some languages that use the equivalent of to be as the auxiliary, for example in French and Italian, but this is not true in Spanish or Portuguese. Generally, the verbs that take to be as an auxiliary are intransitive verbs denoting motion or a change of state. For example, to arrive, to go, or to fall. The present perfect in English is used most commonly for completed past actions or events when it is understood that it is the present result of the events that is focused upon, rather than the moment of completion. No particular past time frame is specified. When a past time frame is specified, then we know that we will not use the present perfect, but instead we'll use the simple past. This tense always implies a strong connection with the present. The present perfect in English can also be used for ongoing or habitual situations continuing up to the present time. So these are actions that are not completed, or the present time may be the moment of completion. This usage describes for how long or since when something has been the case, normally based on time expressions for or since. For example, I have been going to this store for 2 years, or I have been teaching since 1995. Now let's review. We use the present perfect to talk about something that started in the past and that continues in the present. We use the present perfect when the time period referred to has not finished and when actions repeat in an unspecified period between the past and now. In this case, we usually use an open expression of time. For example, this morning, this week, this month, this year, today, or in the last year. It is not possible to use the present perfect with a concluded expression of time. For example, yesterday or 4 years ago. Some examples. I have known your brother since he was a child. We have not eaten much today. They have come to our house every day this week. He has not washed the dishes at all this week. We also use the present perfect for actions completed in the very recent past. In this case, we often use just. For example, I have just finished my homework. We also use the present perfect when the precise time of the action is not important or unknown. For example, I've been to London. All right, now let's practice. Put the parts of the sentence together using the present perfect. We watch a documentary. We watch a documentary. Ready for the answer? It is, we have watched a documentary. All right, let's go to the next one. He fixed his computer. He fixed his computer. Ready for the answer? He has fixed his computer. Ron worked with his wife. Ron worked with his wife. Ready for the answer? Ron has worked with his wife. All right, one more. Lucy played on her computer. Lucy played on her computer. Ready for the answer? Lucy has played on her computer. Now complete each conversation with either the present perfect or the past simple. Has she ever lived abroad? Yes, she in Los Angeles for 2 years. Yes, she